Welcome, everyone, and thanks for joining this month's edition of Tales from the CTO. My name is Jamie McMahon. I'm the CTO here at ProServe IT. And this month, we thought it would be good for us to have a conversation around security. I know it's not a fun conversation per se, or as exciting around how do we help add value to your business or move your business forward from a digital transformation perspective. But it's clear that these attacks are becoming more and more frequent. And I thought it'd be helpful from a business language perspective for us to discuss both how we protect your business and how we can help you take some steps that make it less likely that you become a target. But also, I think for this section, today's conversation will actually be tailored around recovery because we are seeing it more often nowadays around the recovery side of things. So to help frame the conversation, I'm going to bring up an aid that helps us just to think about what does technology mean in general, and then I'll overlay this with the recovery comments tied to dealing with a security incident. So when we think about technology here at ProServe IT, we think about it more than just, I'll say the traditional infrastructure, what most people I think would traditionally think of as IT, in the sense where you've got like your servers, you've got your network, you've got your backups, and that's kind of been traditionally IT. But we think of technology as far more broad than that. It does include, if we want to think of it through the analogy of the house, security does need to be that foundation upon which everything is built to make sure that your business is secure. We obviously still require infrastructure to perform our jobs. We have departmental applications, things like accounting or CRM applications that provide functions to specific pieces of our business. We probably have a core business application that it could be ERP, it could be a way that we monetize our services, but something that's probably more important than all the rest of your applications. There are tools that you have from a productivity perspective. So this could be, things like Office 365, your file servers, how you do meetings, etc. And then on top of that, there is the brand experience of your organization as felt through technology. And so the internal translation of that would be around employee experience. So what tools do we have to keep, get, and grow or retain our existing talent? And the external view of brand experience is our customer experience. And so a similar, what are the tools that we have to keep, get, and grow customers relative to our investments? And then finally, everything under the roof, so to speak, creates assets and data. And how do we maximize that data through insights and automation? How do we, get to predictable insights? How do we get to, improved efficiency or effectiveness through automation? So all of these things, help us view technology through that lens. And when we're looking about it from a disaster perspective, or from, if let's say the worst case scenario, and when every device in our environment has been ransomware or crypto lockered, that type of scenario is very difficult and almost quite scary. And it's, again, the attackers are becoming more and more sophisticated in how they're doing it. And I will describe in another video how we can help protect you. But I do want to take this instance to think about how would we actually deal with that scenario from a recovery perspective. And if you were to look at your environment now, how resilient is it? Is it in a spot where you feel comfortable that we could recover in a quick fashion? And typically what we see from that is, are you, for example, on the security side, are we leveraging, more advanced antivirus technology? So not your basic Symantec or McAfee, but something that's more modern and can respond to sophisticated attacks. Are we using a tier 1 firewall that's under support? So those types of considerations we need to think about, and those all help with recovery. On the infrastructure side, and actually almost everything here, one of the single biggest things that you can do to help lessen the impact of a cyber attack is to be cloud-based. And the reason that is the case is most businesses, we find, again, if all of your systems are hit, the backup and your network and your infrastructure is not built to mass restore all of your systems all at once. And it forces you kind of to do it serially. And this obviously leads to an impact to your business, versus what the cloud does provide us is the ability to rapidly scale up, restore all of our systems very, very quickly in a state that is near identical. We don't need to deal with any kind of like hardware issues, driver issues, some of those complexities that do kind of pop up when we're dealing with physical environments. All of that stuff gets abstracted, and our road to recovery is often like almost as, like, let's say 10 times as fast if we are in a cloud-based environment than if we're in a traditional, on-premises environment. And then, of course, the more that we're able to use modern technology. So, for example, down here on the productivity side, if we're not using file servers, if we're using tools like SharePoint or Teams, that will absolutely help us from a recovery perspective, because those are more difficult to attack from a criminal perspective, and vendors like Microsoft will invest lots of money in protecting them, and so your recovery process for those again is much smoother, and it just helps enhance your resiliency from a business perspective. So broadly speaking, again, there are a number of things I think that we can do to help protect this, and we will cover that shortly in a separate video. But I do want to take a moment and talk about, and just kind of recap our thinking through here, is that there are some certain decisions that you can make that can help your business become more resilient and respond quicker and better in the event of a disaster. And absolutely, we'd love the opportunity to have a conversation with you to figure out, okay, specific to your environment, what are some of the things that you could do, like investing in the cloud, like investing in more mature antivirus or malware protection at endpoint systems. What can we do to help make your business more resilient? So thanks for listening, and we'll be in touch soon.